still have to boot up mix it up. I almost talk normally. Oh my god, there's a lot of like noises in my ear. Holy shit. Okay. I'm using a different mic for this specific whatchamacallit stream. God, my brain's so scattered brained. Can people hear me? Is this a fine level of talking? Do I have to speak a little louder, a little quieter? Goddamn. Here you go, Hylian. Let me get you your drink. There it is. I'm gonna go say bad. I'm gonna go ahead and put the title bad because I'm really scared. I'm gonna accidentally like bump my knee or like I don't know, like fucking. I'm just gonna say like something out loud, very loud in comparison to what I'm saying right now. So I'll just be like, you know. I don't want to do that, so I just let me. Sorry, I was pouring some coffee. I have some like room temperature French press coffee. So I have everything ready to go. It's gonna be very hard to keep myself like not destroying your eardrums at this level, you know? There is music playing in the background. I'm not too sure if this is like a good volume for this. I'll turn it up like a slight amount, but no more than this because I still need to be heard. I still need to be like, oh my god, my phone is not on mute. Jesus Christ. Oh, that was a disaster. That was nearly like avoided or destroyed. Whatever the fuck, you know? So, I forgot I could like simply rub the Blue Yeti mic. I could actually get very close, like actually super close to this and just talk into it, okay? Actually, you know what? You know what? Let me just get in the range of the mic where I get like that good, you know? There's gonna be a lot of mouth noises probably, but that's because there is no like noise cancellation on this mic. I don't have any settings. What you're getting right now is like my pure, unadulterated slash unmodified voice. Of course, you're getting my voice when I'm like speaking in a low whisper, okay? I've been meaning to get back into ASMR. Actually, let me hold on 1 second. Hey, nostalgia. Hi. Hi. Hold on. Okay, boom. I'm just gonna pin this right there. I can't turn off ads. I've done as little ads as possible, but ads will still play. Ah, there's hair in my face. Hi, nostalgia. Can you hear me, by the way? Is this like good? I'm so paranoid about exactly how I sound right now because I could be like, you just hit us with like 10 ads at once. Never. I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. If I had the chance slash choice to just no longer have ads on my Twitch channel. Jesus, that took me forever to remember. I would do it. Okay. I can't do Whisper ASMR, but I'll listen because it's you. Well, I mean, I did put the word bad in the ASMR title of today. Like, let's be honest, this isn't going to be quality, you know? But today specifically, we will be reading the book, The Wizard of Oz. That is right, we are going to be reading a book today. I feel like the music is too loud. Am I going insane? Like, I feel like it's too loud. God. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Fuck it. I'll just not overthink this. It's fine. Everything is just right. Yes. 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 Okay. So, if you'll take a look at the left side over there, or right side, yeah, right side, I can tell where my left and right is. There is the book, and that's not just an image. I'm actually going to be reading the book off of this window source I have. So if you guys would like to read along with me, then sure. I'm really bad at reading out loud, like sincerely bad, okay? So just keep that in mind. I will probably mess up multiple lines. And if you feel like you don't want to be in this environment right now, that's okay. That's okay. This entire stream is mainly for me to just have a nice, relaxing stream and more or less to get my ASMR chaps back in, if you know what I mean. It's been a while, it's been a while. But I think ASMR Pro, I used to do a lot more ASMR when I got my first model. I think this is probably the first time I'm ASMRing with this model. As a matter of fact, I've turned off quite a couple of things in the channel redeem points just to make sure this experience is as calm as possible in terms of ASMR. But I feel like I've rattled for long enough. I'm gonna start reading The Wizard of Oz, okay? But thank you for that, Bats. I appreciate it. Ow. Ow. I accidentally hit my toe. I'm very, how do I say this? I'm very crouched over at my desk. So if I twitch, I'll slam my knee or toe on some random place. Okay. And knee put. It's time to begin. Okay. Where is my tab? Ah, found it. Okay. Let me go back a page. I was kind of reading it from the beginning. Okay. So, this is the book we're going to be reading today. The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. Pictures by W. W. Denslow. Same thing right there, and I'm not gonna read the introductions. Nah, I don't feel like that's an extra page. I don't want to read that. Come on, we already got 200 pages to read or whatever. I've actually never seen or read That's pretty good. I think that makes a lot of sense. Dorothy lived in the midst of the great Kansas prairies with Uncle Henry, who was a farmer, and Aunt Em, who was the farmer's wife. Their house was small, for the lumber to build it had to be carried by wagon many miles. There were 4 walls, a floor, and a roof, which made one room, and this room contained a rusty-looking cooking stove, a cupboard for the dishes, a table, 3 or 4 chairs, and the beds. Uncle Harry and Aunt Em had a big bed in one corner, and Dorothy a little bed in another corner. There was no garret at all, no cellar except a small hole dug in the ground called a cyclone cellar, where the family could go in case one of those great whirlwinds arose, mighty enough to crush any building in its path. It was reached by a trap door in the middle of the floor, from which a ladder led down into the small, dark hall. What the? Oh, that scared me a little bit. The music, I swear. Okay, let me do something real fast. I'm gonna turn down the music for myself. Okay, that's it. When Dorothy stood in the doorway and looked around, she could see nothing but the great gray prairie on every side. Not a tree nor a house broke the broad sweep of flat country that reached the edge of the sky in all directions. The sun had baked the plowed land into a gray mass with little cracks running through it. Even the grass was not green, for the sun had burned the tops of the long blades until they were the same gray color to be seen everywhere. Wait, grass that was gray? I've never seen gray grass. I've always seen like yellow or green or whatever. Once the house had been painted, but the sun blistered the paint and the rains washed it away, and now the house was as dull and gray as everything else. When Aunt Em came there to live, she was a young, pretty wife. The sun and wind had changed her too. They had taken the sparkle from her eyes and left them a sober gray. They had taken the red from her cheeks and lips, and they were gray also. She was thin and gaunt and never smiled now. When Dorothy, who was an orphan, first came to her, Aunt Em had been so startled by the child's laughter that she would scream and press her hand upon her heart whenever Dorothy's merry voice reached her ears, and she still looked at the little girl with wonder that she could find anything to laugh at. Oh no, it looks like these guys were just straight up depressed. Maybe that's like an awful what? I can't hear you. Really? Am I not loud enough? Fuck. God damn it. Ah. Okay, I'm gonna turn it up slightly, okay? No, you are. I'm just poking at you. So what if I increase my volume, you bastard? You think you're gonna escape me now, Ghosty? Huh? Do you really want to make a person holding a book mad? Volume too much? No, I'm joking. Let me turn it down. I'm sorry. That was such a worries, no worries. I put it back. I swear. I controlled C to make that happen. But hi, there goes the. How are you doing? I hope every single one of you is having a good evening, a great night, or something in between, you know? Let me take a sip out of my coffee here. I just woke up from a nap. Well, then go back to bed. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. As per the usual. No. Meow. 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 You can't make me, Mom. I don't have to make you. You will go back to bed eventually. It's okay. And I won't even say I told you so. If you're sleepy, you're sleepy. Just go to sleep, you sleepyhead. That's all you need. Sometimes we all need a few extra hours, even when our mind doesn't think we do. I love my bed. It's the longest relationship I've had. I mean, that's fair. I love my bed. I love it a lot. I love it like a lot. I just love my bed. Simple as. Okay, sorry, let me get back to the story. But for everyone that's coming in, I am reading The Wizard of Oz. I have no idea how far we're gonna go today, but there is going to be a lot of reading, okay? I will do my best to read without errors and without blasting your eardrums, but please keep in mind that on Twitch ads are not able to be turned off, so I apologize for that, okay? I wish all you goobers well, okay? I am a wizard goo. Ghosty, if you were a wizard, what would be the first spell you would cast? I think the first spell I would cast would be fly, or whatever flight spell, because let's face it, flying is cool. Being able to feel the sky and the wind would be so nice. I think that would be my favorite spell. I could be a superhero or something with flight. Anyway, where is my book? Okay. Let's see. I actually don't remember where I was. Oh, I found it. Go have a special clip of you, but where can I share it? You can DM me the clip, boo, and DM me the clip, Ghosty, and I'll go ahead and paste it into the Twitch chat, since I don't have links available to the chatters. That's what we'll do, okay? Aggressively ASMRing. Hold up, I need to watch this real quick. I'm sorry, I accidentally smacked the mic. Hold up, let me watch this on my own real quick. You won't hear it, no worries. Alright, that's good. Let me go ahead and copy that for everybody here. aggressively ASMRing today. Don't fuck with me. I will go out of my way to blast your ear. You are trusting me with your eardrums. Do not make me angry. Okay. I'm getting distracted. I'm sorry. Too bad for you people are into aggressiveness. People need help. That's what people need. They need help. Anyway, Uncle Henry never left. He worked hard from morning till night and did not know what joy was. Oh, Goom has too much power right now. Yes, infinite power. He was gray also, from his long beard to his rough boots, and he looked stern and solemn and rarely spoke. It was Toto that made Dorothy laugh and saved from growing as gray as her other surroundings. Toto was not gray. He was a little black dog with long silky hair and small black eyes that twinkled merrily on either side of his funny wee nose. Very cute. Oh, thank you for following Yui Yui Bukai. I appreciate it. I want to get back into Bunny Goo. I don't have it set up right now. God, I turned a lot of things off. I forgot to turn that one off too. What is wrong with me? Here we go. I'll refund you your points. I'm sorry. No Bunny Goo today. Sorry. Let's see. God, I have way too many, like, things. Jesus. I can't. Oh, I found it. Okay, reject. I'm sorry for that. If you would like to unfollow after that, that's understandable. Let me go ahead and I'm just gonna turn pretty much everything off at this point because it's like people are gonna spend it on a lot of different things, and because I keep turning them off. Okay, let's just go ahead and just turn off a lot of these. Let's see, gonna get rid of that as well. I'm gonna get rid of oh, I turned that one on. Yep. What is wrong with me? I forgot to turn these off. Adios mío, porque lo hice como así. Okay. There. Easy did it. Easy done did it. But thank you for following. You're now fueling the slime economy. Okay, where was I? Toto played all day long, and Dorothy played with him and loved him dearly. Today, however, they were not playing. Uncle Henry sat upon the doorstep and looked anxious at the sky, which was even grayer than usual. Dorothy stood in the door with Toto in her arms and looked at the sky too. Aunt Em was washing the dishes. From the far north, they heard a low wail of the wind. And Uncle Henry and Dorothy would see where the long grass bowed in waves before the coming storm. There now came a sharp whistling in the air from the south, and as they turned their eyes that way, they saw "Quick, Dorothy!" she screamed. "Run for the cellar!" Toto jumped out of Dorothy's arms and hid under the bed, and the girl started to get him. Aunt Em, badly frightened, threw open the trap door in the floor and climbed down the ladder into the small, dark hole. Dorothy got Toto at last and started to follow her aunt. When she was halfway across the room, there came a great shriek from the wind, and the house shook so hard that she lost her footing and sat down suddenly upon the floor. A strange thing then happened. Okay. The house whirled around two or three times and rose slowly through the air. Dorothy felt as if she was going up in a balloon. The north and south winds met where the house stood and made it the exact center of the cyclone. That's fucking crazy. What do you mean? What do you mean? The luck of that is actually, imagine your domicile, your apartment, your house, your shack was like, I don't know, the center of thunderstorm attacks or something. That's the kind of level that has to be. Is, well, I guess it was your time. I guess you got bamboozled by nature. In the middle of a cyclone, the air is generally still, but the great pressure of the wind on every side of the house raised it up higher and higher until it was at the very top of the cyclone. And there it remained. It was carried miles and miles away as easily as you could carry a feather. It was very dark, and the wind howled horribly around her, but Dorothy found she was riding quite easily. After the first few whirls around, and one other time when the house tipped badly, she felt as if she were being rocked gently, like a baby in the cradle. Toto did not like it. He ran about the room, now here, now there, barking loudly, but Dorothy sat quite still on the floor and waited to see what would happen. I mean, really, what else could you do? Like, you're cooked regardless. Once the cyclone is, well, done, I guess you would be done as well. Oh, I just cracked like all of my bones. I'm sorry if that was picked up in my mic. I really needed to get that. I really needed that. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, there you go. Much better. Much better. Sorry, I'm getting my other bones too. Oh. This was not what I had in mind. Bone cracking ASMR. Okay. Once Toto got too near the open trap door and fell in, and at first the little girl thought she had lost him, but soon she saw one of his ears sticking through the hole, for the strong pressure of the air was keeping him up so that he could not fall. She crept to the hole, caught Toto by the ear, and dragged him into the room again, afterwards closing the trap door so that no more accidents could happen. Hour after hour passed away, cyclone had set the house down very gently for a cyclone in the midst of a country of marvelous beauty. There were lovely patches of green sward all about, with stately trees bearing rich and luscious fruits. Banks of gorgeous flowers were on every hand, and birds with rare and brilliant plumage sang and fluttered in the trees and bushes. A little way off was a small brook, rushing and sparkling along between green banks, and murmuring in a voice very grateful to a little girl who had lived so long on the dry, gray prairies. While she stood looking eagerly at the strange and beautiful sights, she noticed coming toward her a group of the queerest people she had ever seen. Are they wearing sombreros? What the fuck is this? What is this? What are the what are those? What are those? They were not as big as the grown folk she had always been used to, but neither were they very small. In fact, they seemed to be about as tall as Dorothy, who was a well-grown child for her age, although they were, so far as looks go, many years older. They were men and one a woman, and all were oddly dressed. They wore round hats that rose to a small point a foot above their heads, with little bells around the brims that tinkled sweetly as they moved. The hats of the men were blue, the little woman's hat was white, and she wore a white gown that hung in pleats from her shoulders. Over it were sprinkled little stars that glistened in the sun like diamonds. The men were dressed in blue, of the same shade as their hats, and wore well-polished boots with a deep roll of blue at the tops. The men, Dorothy thought, were about as old as Uncle Henry, for two of them had beards, but the little woman was doubtless much older. Her face was covered with wrinkles, her hair was nearly white, and she walked rather stiffly, very, very stiffly. Actually, let me see. Yeah, she's like a granny. She's like a freaking granny. When these people drew near the house where Dorothy was standing in the doorway, they paused and whispered amongst themselves, as if afraid to come further. But the little old woman walked up to Dorothy, made a low bow, and said in a sweet voice, "You are welcome, most noble sorceress, to the land of the Munchkins. We are so grateful to you for having killed the Wicked Witch of the East and for setting our people free from bondage." Dorothy listened to the speech with wonder. What what could the little woman possibly mean by calling her a sorceress and saying she had killed the Wicked Witch of the East? Dorothy was an innocent, harmless little girl who had been carried by a cyclone many miles from home, and she had never killed anything in her life. But the little woman evidently expected her to answer, so Dorothy said with hesitation, "You are very kind, but there must be some mistake. I have not killed anything." "Your house did anyway," replied the little old woman with a laugh, "and that is the same thing. See," she continued, pointing to the corner of the house, "there are two toes sticking out from under a block of wood." So, hold on, let me get some water. I think. She actually is a stat user. They should have fought her in part 3, is all I'm saying. Okay. Dorothy looked and gave a little cry of fright. There, indeed, just under the corner of the great beam the house rested on, 2 feet were sticking out, shod in silver shoes with pointed toes. Oh dear, cried Dorothy, clasping her hands together in dismay. The house must have fallen on her. Whatever shall we do? There is nothing to be done, said the little woman calmly. But who was she? Asked Dorothy. Well, she was the Wicked Witch in the East, as I said, answered the little woman. She has held all the Munchkins in bondage, ooh, kinky, for many years, making them slave for her night and day. Now they are all set free and are grateful to you for the favor. Who are the Munchkins? Inquired Dorothy. Well, they are the people who live in this land of the East, where the Wicked Witch rule. Are you a Munchkin? Asked Dorothy. No, but I am their friend, although I live in the land of the North. When they say the Witch of the East was dead, the Munchkin sent a swift messenger to me, and I came at once. I am the Witch of the North. I's a Malenia. Hi, Molly. Hi, Molly. Good evening. Ow. I just hit myself. How you doing? I am reading The Wizard of Oz. That is it. That is quite literally all I'm doing today. Who knows for how long? I guess until my throat dies or something. 5 a.m. for me. That's a respectful time, honestly. But yes, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. AM. I mean, technically the sun hasn't rise, so it is still night. But that's the time I gotta be for work. Well, I mean, we all got busy schedules. For example, I have work at 10 a.m. That's like 5 hours after you guys get ready / are at work. It's so funny like that. But yes, I am reading. Oh, it's very scary. This book that I have is full of words. So many words. A lot of words. A lot of words. Thank you for the hydrate and headband. Let me take another sip. Okay, but yes. Sorry, my bottle is popping over there. But yes, I am simply reading. If you would like to just listen to me do my hardest at reading a book, then you're welcome to stay, I guess. Anyway, let me get back to I minimized it. No. There it is. Is it back? Okay, thank goodness. But yes, I'm doing well, and I hope the same to you, Molly, okay? Where was I? Okay, here it is. Oh, gracious, cried Dorothy. Are you a real witch? Yes, indeed, answered the little woman. witches were wicked, said the girl, who was half frightened at facing a real witch. Don't worry, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh no, that is a great mistake. There were only 4 witches in all the land of Oz, and 2 of them, those who live in the north and the south, are good witches. I know this is true, for I am one of them myself and cannot be mistaken. Yeah, that sounds like bias to me. Those who dwelt in the east and the west were indeed the wicked witches, but now that you have killed one of them, there is but one wicked witch in all the land of Oz, the one who lives in the west. But, said Dorothy after a moment's thought, Aunt Em has told me the witches were all dead years and years ago. Who is Aunt Em? Inquired the little old woman. She is my aunt, who lives in Kansas, where I came from. The witch in the north seemed to think for a time, with her head bowed and her eyes upon the ground. Then she looked up and said, I do not know where Kansas is, for I have never heard that country mentioned before. But tell me, is it a civilized country? Oh yes, replied Dorothy. Then that accounts for it. In civilized countries, I believe there are no witches left, nor wizards, nor sorceresses, nor magicians. But you see, the land of Oz has never been civilized, for we are cut off from all the rest of the world. Therefore, we still have witches and wizards amongst us. But who are the wizards? Asked Dorothy. Oz himself is a great wizard, answered the witch, sinking her voice to a whisper. He is more powerful than all the rest of us together. He lives in the City of Emeralds. Dorothy was going to ask another question, but just then the Munchkins, who had been standing silently by, gave a loud shout and pointed to the corner of the house where the wicked witch had been lying. What is it? Asked the little old woman, and looked and began to laugh. The feet of the dead witch had disappeared entirely, and nothing was left but the silver shoes. She was so old, explained the witch of the north, that she dried up quickly in the sun. That is the end of her. But the silver shoes are yours, and you shall have them to wear. What? No, you can't force that on me. She reached down and picked up the shoes, and after shaking the dust out of them, I did bit my tongue. I did bit my tongue. 1 second, I just bit my tongue. Ow. That sucked. That never happens to me. How did that happen? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm about to knock everything over. Damn, that was really embarrassing, I won't lie. The witch of the east was proud of those silver shoes, said one of the Munchkins, and there is some charm connected with them, but what it is, we never knew. Dorothy carried the shoes into the house and placed them on the table. Then she came out again to the Munchkins and said, I'm anxious to get back to my began to sob at this, for she felt lonely among all these strange people. Her tears seemed to grieve the kind-hearted Munchkins, for they merely took out their handkerchiefs and began to wipe or weep also. As for the little old woman, she took off her cap and bounced the point of the end of her nose while she counted 1, 2, 3 in a solemn voice. At once the cap changed to a slate on which was written in big white chalk marks, "Let Dorothy go to the City of Emeralds." The little old woman took the slate from her nose, and having read the words on it, asked, "Is your name Dorothy, my dear?" "Yes," answered the child, looking up and drying her tears. "Then you must go to the City of Emeralds. Perhaps Oz will help you." "Where is this city?" asked Dorothy. "It is exactly in the center of the country and is ruled by Oz, the great wizard I told you of." "Is he a good man?" inquired the girl anxiously. "He is a good wizard. Whether he is a man or not, I cannot tell, for I have never seen him." "I do not know if he is machine or man. Here's machine. The flesh is weak." This is where like the Warhammer universe comes in and just like invades everything. I need to get into Warhammer, man. "How can I get there?" asked Dorothy. "You must walk. It is a long journey through a country that is sometimes pleasant and sometimes dark and terrible. However, I will use all the magic arts I know of to keep you from harm. Won't you go with me?" pleaded the girl, who had begun to look upon the little old woman as her only friend. "No, I cannot do that," she replied, "but I will give you my kiss, and no one will dare injure a person who has been kissed by the Witch of the North." She came close to Dorothy and kissed her gently on the forehead. Where her lips touched the girl, they left a round, shiny mark. As Dorothy found out soon after, the road to the City of Emeralds is paved with yellow brick, said the witch, so you cannot miss it. When you get to Oz, do not be afraid of him, but tell your story and ask him to help you. Goodbye, my dear. The 3 Munchkins bowed low to her and wished her a pleasant journey, after which they walked away through the trees. The witch gave Dorothy a friendly little nod, whirled around on her left heel 3 times, and straightway disappeared, much to the surprise of little Toto. I actually forgot about Toto until just now, who barked after her loudly enough when she had gone, because he had been afraid even to growl while she stood by. But Dorothy, knowing her to be a witch, had expected her to disappear in just that way, and was not surprised in the least. I freaking knew that she would disappear. It's so obvious. Come on. I like these little graphics here. They're very nice. I do like this guy's mustache. It's like the little tadpoles. That's all he's got. When Dorothy was left alone, she began to feel hungry. Hold up, give me a quick second. I need to get some water. hydrate. Yeah, I need to make sure I hydrate correctly when I'm reading. It's very hard to not. I'm trying my best to reduce the amount of mouth noises, but because I'm so fucking close to the mic, it's very hard. It's very hard. So I'm doing my best. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, when Dorothy was left alone, she began to feel hungry, so she went to the cupboard and cut herself some bread, which she spread with butter. She gave some to Toto, and taking a pail from the shelf, she carried it down to the little brook and filled it with clear, sparkling water. Toto ran over to the trees and began to bark at the birds sitting there. Dorothy went to get him and saw such delicious fruit hanging from the branches that she gathered some of it, finding it just what she wanted to help her out for breakfast. You're doing great, thank you, I appreciate it. Then she went back to the house and having helped herself and Toto to a good drink of the cool, clear water, she set about making ready for the journey to the City of Emeralds. Dorothy had only one other dress, but that happened to be clean and was hanging on a peg beside her bed. It was gingham with cheeks of checks of white and blue, and although the blue was somewhat faded with washings, it was still a pretty frock. The girl washed herself carefully, dressed herself in the clean ging. Is it Jing or Ging? I'm just saying gingham, and tied her pink sunbonnet on her head. She took a little basket and filled it with bread from the cupboard, lying a white cloth over the top. Then she looked down at her feet and noticed how old and worn her shoes were. They surely will never do for a long journey, Toto, she said, and Toto looked up into her face with his little black eyes and wagging tail to show he knew what she meant. At that time, Dorothy saw lying on the table the silver shoes that had belonged to the Witch of the East. It's honestly kind of like, I don't know, morbid that we're about to like wear a dead woman's shoes so like quickly. I get it, but also it's a little fucked up, no? We're off to see the wizard. Hi there, sugar. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whichever time zone. I forget right now because I'm not looking at the time. How you doing? We're reading The Wizard of Oz. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, but yes, let me get back to it real fast, but I'm doing my best. I am delaying the ads as much as possible because I don't want to, I don't want ads. I hate ads on Twitch. I can't hear you right now, but I hope you're having fun. I'm just gonna say yes. Okay, anyway, let me get back to it. I wonder if they will fit me, she said to Toto. They would be just the thing to take a long walk in, for they could not wear out. She took off her old leather shoes and tried on the silver ones, which fitted her as well as a sun shone bright and the birds sang sweetly, and Dorothy did not feel nearly so bad as you might think a little girl would who had been suddenly whisked away from her own country and set down in the midst of a strange land. She was surprised as she walked along to see how pretty the country was about her. There were there were neat fences at the sides of the road, painted a dainty blue color, and beyond them were fields of grain and vegetables in abundance. Evidently, the Munchkins were good farmers and able to raise large crops. Once in a while, she would pass a house, and the people came out to look at her and bow low as she went by, for everyone knew she had been a means of destroying the wicked witch and setting them free from bondage. Oh, that's good. That's good that she at least gets the recognition, right? The houses of the Munchkins were odd-looking dwellings, for each was round with a big dome for a roof. All were painted blue, for in this country of the East, blue was the favorite color. Towards evening, when Dorothy was tired with her long walk and began to wonder where she should rest the night, she came to a house rather larger than the rest. On the green lawn before it, many men and women were dancing. 5 little fiddlers played as loudly as possible, and the people were laughing and singing, while a big table nearby was loaded with delicious fruits and nuts, pies and cakes, and many other good things to eat. The people greeted Dorothy kindly and invited her to supper to pass the night with them, for this was the home of one of the richest Munchkins in the land, and his friends were gathered with him to celebrate their freedom from the bondage of the wicked witch. Dorothy ate a hearty supper and was waited upon by the rich Munchkin himself, whose name was Puck. Then she sat down upon a settee and watched the people dance. When Puck saw her silver shoes, he said, "You must be a great sorceress." "Why?" asked the girl. "Because you wear silver shoes and have killed the wicked witch. Besides, you have white in your frock, and only witches and sorcerers wear white." Okay, so you could just look the part. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna wear nothing but white now. I will become a witch. That's right. Hold up. Oh wait, I just realized that's getting picked up in the mic. Oops. I was pouring more coffee. That was probably a little loud. I apologize. What the fuck? Oops. Didn't mean to give you more ASMR like that. Oops. Okay. Okay, my dress is blue and white checked, said Dorothy, something smoothing out the wrinkles in it. "It is kind of you to wear that," said Puck. "Blue is the color of the Munchkins, and white is the witch color, so we know you are a friendly witch." Dorothy did not know what to say to this, for all the people seemed to think her a witch, and shin baby who played with Toto and pulled his tail and crowed and laughed in a way that greatly amused Dorothy. Toto was a fine curiosity to all the people, for they had never seen a dog before. How far is it to the Emerald City? The girl asked. I do not know, answered Buck. I'll try to say thanks for this little story. Have a nice dream, cutie. Hey, I'm not a cutie. Whoever says I'm a cutie, you're a cutie back, okay? That's right. I pulled out my reverse Uno card. As a matter of fact, you know what? Give me a second here. Do I? Where is it? Got it. Okay. I'm done with this. The cutest. Do not dare call me cute. The repercussions is huge. I activate my trap card. Fuck you. You're cute. Every single person in this chat is cute. Fuck you. Get out of here. The cutest. Why can't we all just be cute? That's what I say. Why can't we just all be cute? I'll agree if everybody else agrees. Yeah. But the next time someone says some shit, huzzah! Huzzah! I have it ready now. Ha! 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 Okay, enough of that. Now I'm a gremlin in a dank cave. Well, you're a cutie gremlin. There. Get owned. Doesn't work on me. Whatever. I'm gonna continue reading the story. I do not know, answered Buck gravely, for I have never been there. was puzzled at this, for it sounded queer to hear a stuffed man speak, and to see him bow and walk along beside her. "Who are you?" asked the Scarecrow, when he had scratched himself, or stretched himself and yawned. "And where are you going?" "My name is Dorothy," said the girl, "and I am going to the Emerald City to ask the Great Oz to send me back to Kansas." "Where is the Emerald City?" he inquired. "And who is Oz?" "Why, don't you know?" she returned in surprise. "No, indeed, I don't know anything. You see, I am stuffed, so I have no brains at all," he answered sadly. "Oh," said Dorothy, "I'm awfully sorry for you." "Do you think," he asked, "if I go to the Emerald City with you, that Oz would give me some brains?" "I cannot tell," she returned, "but you may come with me if you like. If Oz will not give you any brains, you will be no worse off than you are now." "That is true," said the Scarecrow. "You see," he continued confidently, "I don't mind my legs and arms and body being stuffed, because I cannot get hurt. If anyone treads on my toes or sticks a pin into me, it doesn't matter, for I can't feel it. But I do not want people to call me a fool, and if my head stays stuffed with straw instead of with brains as yours, how am I ever to know anything?" "I understand how you feel," said the little girl, who was truly sorry for him. "If you will come with me, I'll ask Oz to do all he can for you." "Thank you," he answered gratefully. They walked back to the road. Dorothy helped them over the fence, and they started along the path of yellow brick for the Emerald City. Toto did not like this addition to the party at first. He smelled around the stuffed man as if he suspected there might be a nest of rats in the straw, and he often growled in an unfriendly way at the Scarecrow. "Don't mind Toto," said Dorothy to her new friend. "He never bites." "Oh, I'm not afraid," replied the Scarecrow. "He can't hurt the straw. Do let me carry that basket for you. I shall not mind it, for I can't get tired. I'll tell you a secret," he continued as he walked along. "There's one thing in the world I am afraid of." "What is that?" asked Dorothy. "The Munchkin farmer who made you." "The Munchkin farmer who made you?" "No," answered the Scarecrow. "It's a lighted match." Makes sense. That makes sense. Straw gets burnt. Makes sense, right? After a few hours, the road began to be rough and the walking grew so difficult that the Scarecrow often stumbled over the yellow brick, which were here very uneven. Sometimes, indeed, they were broken or missing altogether. "Did we get the Tin Man or the Lion yet?" "We just got the Scarecrow, so not yet." But this book is like 200 pages long, so I imagine there will be some fluff or whatever. I really chose a long book for the first time doing this. I should have read some lullabies or something. I'm half asleep. Very calm. Yeah, that's fine. That's the whole point. You're supposed to go to bed. Just a little bit. Just gonna go to sleep. Go to sleep. the Scarecrow when she had finished her dinner, so she told him about Kansas and how gray everything was there, and that the cyclone had carried her to the square land of Oz. The Scarecrow listened and carefully and said, I cannot understand why you should wish to leave this beautiful country and go back to the dry, gray place you call Kansas. That is because you have no brains, answered the girl. No matter how dreary and gray our homes are, we people of flesh and blood would rather live there than in any country, be it ever so beautiful. There's no place like home. The Scarecrow sighed. Of course, I cannot understand it. If your heads were stuffed with straw like mine, you would probably all live in the beautiful places, and Kansas would have no people at all. Is it fortunate for Kansas that you have brains? Won't you tell me a story while we are resting? Asked the child. The Scarecrow looked at her reproachfully and answered, My life has been so short I really know nothing whatever. I was only made day before yesterday. What happened in the world before that time is all unknown to me. Luckily, when the farmer made my head, one of the first things he did was to paint my ears, so I heard what was going on. There was another munchkin with him, and the first thing I heard was the farmer saying, How do you like those ears? They aren't straight, answered the other. Never mind, said the farmer. There are ears just the same, which was true enough. Now I'll make the eyes, said the farmer. So he painted my right eye, and as soon as it was finished, I found myself looking at him and at everything around me with a great deal of curiosity, for this was my first glimpse of the world. That's a rather pretty eye, remarked the munchkin who was watching the farmer. Blue paint is just the color for eyes. I think I'll make the other a little bigger, said the farmer, and when the second eye was done, I could see much better than before. Then he made my nose and my mouth, but I did not speak, because at that time I didn't know what a mouth was for. I had the fun of watching them make my body and my arms and my legs, and when they fastened on my head at last, I felt very proud, for I thought I was just as good a man as anyone. This fellow will scare the crows fast enough, said the farmer. He looks just like a man. Why, he is a man, said the other, and I quite agreed with him. The farmer carried me under his arm to the cornfield and set me up on a tall stick where Hugh found me. He and his friends soon after walked away and left me alone. I did not like to be deserted this way, so I tried to walk after them, but my feet would not touch the ground, and I was forced to stay on that pole. It was a lonely life to lead, for I had nothing to think of, having been made such a little while before. Many crows and other birds flew into the cornfield, but as soon as they saw me, they flew away again, thinking I was a munchkin, and this pleased me and made me feel that I was quite an important person. By and by, an old crow flew near me, and after looking at me carefully, perched upon my shoulder and said, I wonder if that farmer thought to fool me in this clumsy manner. Any crow of sense could see that you're really stuffed with straw. Then he hopped down at my feet and ate all the corn he wanted. The other birds, seeing he was not harmed by me, came to eat the corn too. saying if you only had brains in the head, you would be as good a man as any of them, and a better man than some of them. Brains are the only things worth having in this world, no matter whether one is a crow or a man. I like this crow. This crow is nice. After the crows had gone, I thought this was over, and decided I would try hard to get some brains. By good luck, you came along and pulled me off the stake, and from what you say, I am sure the Great Oz will give me brains as soon as we get to the Emerald City. I hope so, said Dorothy earnestly, since you seem anxious to have them. Oh yes, I am anxious, returned the Scarecrow. It is such an uncomfortable feeling to know one is a fool. Well, said the girl, let us go, and she handed the basket to the Scarecrow. There were no fences at all by the roadside now, and the land was rough, and until toward evening they came to a great forest where the trees grew so big and close together that their branches met over the road of yellow brick. It was almost dark under the trees, for the branches shut out the daylight. But the travelers did not stop and went on into the forest. If this road goes in, it must come out, said the Scarecrow, and as the Emerald City is at the other end of the road, we must go wherever it leads us. Anyone would know that, said Dorothy. Certainly, that is why I know it, returned the Scarecrow. If it required brains to figure it out, I never should have said it. After an hour or so, the light faded away, and they found themselves stumbling along in the darkness. Dorothy could not see at all, but Toto could, for some dogs see very well in the dark. He's got 60 feet of dark vision. This dog is a good D&D character. So she took hold of his arm and managed to get along fairly well. If you see any house or any place where we can pass the night, she said, you must tell me, for it is very uncomfortable walking in the dark. Soon after the Scarecrow stopped, I see a little college at the right of us, he said, built of logs and branches. Shall we go there? Yes, indeed, answered the child. I am all tired out. So the Scarecrow led her through the trees until they reached the cottage. And Dorothy entered and found a bed of dried leaves in one corner. She lay down at once, and with Toto beside her, soon fell into a sound sleep. The Scarecrow, who was never tired, stood up in another corner and waited patiently until morning came. We're on page 35. My God, how long have I been reading? Almost 2 hours. What? Yo, what? I've been reading for almost 2 hours. Okay, I'm gonna take a small, tiny break to grab myself a bottle of water. I need to grab myself a bottle of water because if I don't, well, I'll just simply be dehydrated, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put on the screen. What the hell? Since when did I have this? if I can find a water bottle. Be right back. Ah, hello, 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 hello. Sorry, it's hard to Maybe I should have opened this bottle before I unmuted. It'll be fine. Watch this. Oh, that was actually kind of satisfying. Okay. So I have water, right? I have water, but I also have Powerade. I actually heard from a study that Powerade has like more electrolytes than Gatorade, which is crazy if that's true. I didn't know that. I didn't know that before, so. Sorry, I'm just taking a nice little like drink break. It's very refreshing to like actually take the time to just become hydrated. Become a little bit hydrated. Oh god, I still have like mouth ulcers too. It's the worst. It sucks so much to have mouth ulcers. It's not good. You might even say it's the worst. Okay. Alright, I think everything is good. Everything is good. Okay. Okay. Oh wait, I need to get rid of the be right back screen. Or be right back thing. Okay. Let me get closer. Let me get a little closer. I'm actually gonna do a quick move to add a compressor real fast. Just to have it so like if there was like something very loud, it would be a little suppressed. Let's go 4-to-1. Threshold, roughly around here. Attack, minimal. Outward gain. Nah, I don't really need a gain. We're fine. I could turn it up a slight amount, and that's about it. Okay. Okay. Here we go. When Dorothy awoke, the sun was shining through the trees, and Toto had long been out chasing birds around her. There was the Scarecrow, still standing patiently in this corner, waiting for her. "We must go and search for water," she said to them. "Why do you want water?" he asked. "To wash my face clean after the dust of the road, and to drink so the dried bread will not stick in my throat." "It must be inconvenient to be made of flesh," said the Scarecrow thoughtfully, "for you must sleep, eat, and drink. However, you have brains, and it is worth a lot of bother to be able to think properly." They left the cottage and walked through the trees until they found a little spring of clear water where Dorothy drank and bathed and ate her breakfast. She saw there was not much bread left in the basket, and the girl was thankful the Scarecrow did not have to eat anything. for there was scarcely enough for herself and Toto for the day. When she had finished her meal and was about to go back to the road of the yellow brick, she was startled to hear a deep groan nearby. "What was that?" she asked timidly. "I could not imagine," replied the scarecrow, "but we can go and see." Just then, another groan reached their ears, and the sound seemed to come from behind them. They turned and walked through the forest a few times when Dorothy discovered something shining in a ray of sunshine that fell between the trees. She ran to the place and then stopped short with a cry of surprise. One of the big trees had been partly chopped through, and standing beside it with an uplifted axe in his hand was a man made entirely of tin. His head and arms and legs were jointed upon his body, but he stood perfectly motionless, as if he could not stir at all. Dorothy looked at him in amazement, and so did the scarecrow, while Toto barked sharply and made a snap at the tin legs, which hurt his teeth. "Did you groan?" asked Dorothy. "Yes," answered the Tin Man. "I did. I've been groaning for more than a year, and no one has ever heard me before or come to help me." "What can I do for you?" she inquired softly, for she was moved by the sad voice in which the man spoke. "Get an oil can and oil my joints," he answered. "They are rusted so badly that I cannot move them at all. If I am well oiled, I shall soon be all right again. You will find an oil can on a shelf in my cottage." Ow. Ow. I bit my lip again. Or my tongue, whatever. Dorothy at once ran back to the cottage and found the oil can, and then she returned and asked anxiously, "Where are your joints?" "Oil my neck first," replied the Tin Woodman. So she oiled it, and it was quite badly rusted. The scarecrow took hold of the tin head and moved it gently from side to side until it worked freely, and then the man could turn it himself. "Now oil the joints in my arms," he said, and Dorothy oiled them, and the scarecrow bent them carefully until they were quite free from rust and as good as new. The Tin Woodman gave a sigh of satisfaction and lowered his axe, which he leaned against the tree. "This is a great comfort," he said. "I have been holding that axe in the air ever since I rusted, and I'm glad to be able to put it down at last. Now, if you will oil the joints of my legs, I shall be all right once more." So they oiled his legs until he could move them freely, and he thanked them again and again for his release, for he seemed a very politeful creature and very grateful. "I might have stood there always if you had not come along," he said. "So you have certainly saved my life. How did you happen to be here?" "We are on our way to the Emerald City to see the great wizard Oz," she answered, "and we stopped at your cottage to pass the night." This guy kind of looks like a freak. Kind of a freakazoid over here, you know? I don't like the look on these guys' faces. it, I don't know, I feel threatened. This is gonna haunt my dreams. Why do you wish to see Oz? He asked. I want him to send me back to Kansas, and the Scarecrow wants him to put a few brains into his head, she replied. The Tin Woodman appeared to think deeply for a minute. Then he said, Do you suppose Oz could give me a heart? Why not? I guess so, Dorothy answered. It would be as easy as to give the Scarecrow brains. True, the Tin Woodman returned. So if you will allow me to join your party, I will also go to the Emerald City and ask Oz to help me. Come along, said the Scarecrow heartily, and Dorothy added that she would be pleased to have his company. So the Tin Woodman shouldered his axe, and they all passed through the forest until they came to the road that was paved with yellow brick. The Tin Woodman had asked Dorothy to put the oil can in her basket, for, he said, if I should get caught in the rain and rust again, I would need the oil can badly. It was a bit of good luck to have their new comrade join the party, for soon after they had begun their journey again, they came to a place where the trees and branches grew so thick over the road that the travelers could not pass. But the Tin Woodman set to work with his axe and chopped so well that soon he cleared a passage for the entire party. Dorothy was thinking so earnestly as they walked along that she did not notice when the Scarecrow stumbled into a hole and rolled over to the side of the road. Indeed, he was obliged to call to her to help him up again. Why didn't you walk around the hole? Asked the Tin Woodman. I don't know enough, replied the Scarecrow cheerfully. My head is stuffed with straw, you know, and that is why I'm going to Oz to ask him for some brains. Oh, I see, said the Tin Woodman. But after all, brains are not the best thing in the world. Have you any? Inquired the Scarecrow. No, my head is quite empty, answered the Woodman. But once I had brains and a heart also. So, having tried them both, I should much rather have a heart. And why is that? Asked the Scarecrow. I will tell you my story, and then you will know. So, while they were walking through the forest, the Tin Woodman told the following story. I was born the son of a woodman who chopped down trees in the forest and sold the wood for a living. When I grew up, I too became a wood chopper, and after my father died, I took care of my old mother as long as she lived. Then I made up my mind that instead of living alone, I would marry, so that I might not become lonely. Legit so far? There was once of the Munchkin girls who was so beautiful that I soon grew to love her with all of my heart. She, on her part, promised to marry me as soon as I could earn enough money to build a better house for her, so I set to work harder than ever. But the girl lived with an old woman who did not want her to marry anyone, for she was so lazy. She wished the girl to remain with her and do the cooking and the housework. So the old woman went to the Wicked Witch in the East and promised her 2 sheep and a cow if she would prevent the marriage. Thereupon the wicked witch enchanted my axe, and when I was chopping away at my best one day, for I was anxious to get the new house and my wife as soon as possible, the axe slipped all at once and cut off my left leg. Whoa, really? Really? They really fucked with this guy? Oh my god. No, that's no joke. Oh, hold up. Oh. Like that this is no joke. Like this, hold on. Oh my god, why is YouTube being so fucking buggy? This isn't a joke. Like, what the fuck? What do you mean? What do you mean that, like, I don't like you trying to be with my daughter, so therefore I decide to take your entire leg. It's gone. Just gone. Just see ya. That's fucked. That's so fucked. What the hell? You said what the fuck? And I was like, yep, there's the part of the story. I never, like, oh, that's so mean. You could have just said, like, I don't know, like, Dorothy Tilly says, what the fuck? Okay, let's see. Sorry. That's so screwy. Why would you do that? Okay. This at first seemed a great misfortune, for I knew a one-legged man could not do very well as a wood chopper, so I went to a tinsmith and had him make me a new leg out of tin. The leg worked very well once I was used to it, but my action angered the wicked witch of the east, for she had promised the old woman I should not marry the pretty Munchkin girl. When I began chopping again, my axe slipped and cut off my right leg. Why not just switch the axe? One, shame on me, or shame on you. Two, shame on me, okay? I feel like you would learn the second time that this axe probably shouldn't be used. Also, I really hope I'm not like blasting people's ears because I'm no longer whispering. I'm not sure which is better personally. I'm not sure if I should like keep it as like a low volume but just like regular talking, or if I should just whisper again. So let me know if you guys prefer one way or the other. Like I said, it's been a while, so I don't remember anymore how to do this correctly. Actually, you know what? Let me try Raspberry again. Let's see how this goes. Where was I? When I began chopping again, my axe slipped and cut off my right leg. Again, I went to the tinner, and again he made me a leg out of tin. After this, the enchanted axe cut off my arms, one after the other, but nothing daunted, I had them replaced with tin ones. The wicked witch then made the axe slip and cut off my head, and at first I thought that was the end of me. But the tinner happened to come along, and he made me a new head out of tin. Oh my god. I thought I had beaten the wicked witch then, and I worked harder than ever, but I little knew how cruel my enemy could be. She thought of a new way to kill my love for the beautiful Munchkin maiden, and made my axe slip again, so that it cut right through my body, splitting me into two halves. Once more the tinner Mother came to my help and made me a body of tin, fastening my tin arms and legs and head to it by means of joints, so that I can move around as well as ever. But alas, I had now no heart, so I lost all my love for the Munchkin girl and did not care whether I married her or not. I suppose she's still living with the old woman, waiting for me to come after her. My body shone so brightly in the sun that I felt very proud of it, and it did not matter now if my axe slipped, for it could not cut me. There was only one danger, that my joints would rust, but I kept an oil can in my cottage and took care to oil myself whenever I needed it. However, there came a day when I forgot to do this, and being caught in a rainstorm, before I thought of the danger, my joints had rusted, and I was left to stand in the woods until you came to help me. It was a terrible thing to undergo, but during the year I stood there and I had time to think that the greatest loss I had known was the loss of my heart. While I was in love, I was the happiest man on earth, but now no one can love who has not a heart, and so I am resolved to ask Oz to give me one. If he does, I will go back to the Munchkin Maiden and marry her. Both Dorothy and the Scarecrow had been greatly interested in the story of the Tin Man, and now they knew why he was so anxious to get a heart. All the same, said the Scarecrow, I shall ask for brains instead of a heart, for a fool would not know what to do with a heart if he had one. I shall take the heart, returned the Tin Woodsman, for brains do not make one happy, and happiness is the best thing in the world. Dorothy did not say anything, for she was puzzled to which of her two friends was right, and she decided if she could only get back to Kansas and Aunt Em, it did not matter so much whether the Woodsman had no brains and the Scarecrow no heart, or each got what he wanted. What worried her most was that the bread was nearly gone, and another meal for herself and Toto would empty the basket. To be sure, neither the Woodman nor the Scarecrow ever ate anything, but she was not made of tin nor straw and could not live unless she was fed. I love the fact that Dorothy does not really give a fuck. She doesn't give a fuck. She's like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm starving. I sincerely don't give a damn, because I am going to die in like a day or two if I don't get some food. Like, I hear you. I totally hear you. That's a sad story, but also I don't care. I don't care. Who cares? I'm sorry I asked. What? You need to eat? I mean, that's true. Wait, what? Yeah, I need to eat. Just because I'm slime doesn't mean I can't go on without sustenance. You hungry? I actually ate a chili dog while I was getting my water, so I made it real quick. I had leftovers, of course. I made a chili dog and ate it. Muy bien, muy bien. I can now safely say that I'm 120 pounds now. That's right. I've went from 119 a month ago to 120 pounds. I've done it. I've increased a single pound in a month. That's totally progress. I still need dinner. Make sure you get some food. Make sure you get some food. Make sure everybody gets their decent dose of calories, you know? You guys need to take care of yourselves. That's what matters most. Your body. Sorry, I'm taking a drink of my coffee. I gained a pound too. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Sorry, I popped my jaw. Okay, so I know people can pop. Are you a shawty? I'm only 5'5",
5'5" or 5'6". It really determines on the doctor that like checks me. I'm not short. I'm not short. I'm not short, that's for sure. I'm not short. Oh my god, we're the same size then? Well, I mean, that's a first. Most of the time, most of my friends are taller than me and they call me short. I'm not short. It's not my fair. It's not fair that you're like 5'11", 6 feet and up. My own girlfriend is taller by me from like 3 inches. It stinks. I'm not short. Makes me mad. I'm like 5'6" or 5'5" and 108 pounds. That's true. Maka's tall. Yeah, she's very tall. She's a tall lady. Okay. And I get made fun of. I'm tired of getting made fun of for my height. It's time for the tall people to slay. Oh wait, no, that's not what I meant to say. It's time to kill. It's time to murder everyone above the height of 5'8". 5'8" is a good cutoff point, I feel. Tall people do slay. Yeah, but you know what I could do as a short person? I could stab people's, like, ankles, you know? I could stab people's ankles. You're about to regret it. Like, you cross me and I'll kill you. Simple as. I can climb up tall people like a tree. So can I. It's a skill I learned as a child and demand affection. I could do that too. I just simply don't. I'm a cat at heart. You know, I won't lie. Okay, I'm just gonna say this once before I move on, okay? I got a hug from my mom because we were having like a heart-to-heart about something. And I actually cried because it's been the first time I've been hugged, like meaningfully. And yeah, it put a tear in my eye, that's for sure. But that's about it. I don't want any more affection. I don't think I can handle it. I think if I was given any affection, I'd freaking explode. I'd blow up. Anyway. Mood. It's just, I'm just too sensitive, I think I'm just too sensitive. Exploded every time too. Yeah, exactly. I'm just too sensitive. I don't know what to do about it. Okay. Okay. How far are we in the book? We're at 45. Let's see. I might do a half and half stream today because I don't feel like reading this much. Let me do a check real fast. We're getting through it. It's too much feelings for people who are usually dead inside. Yeah, I feel that. Oh, what did I do? No. Take me back. No. Ooh, what's happening? Help. Why? We're going through it, indeed. We just have to click this multiple times until we go back. I have to head back to page 45. Oh, we're getting the lion. Okay. There you go. Much better. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just so used to cracking my neck without any repercussions. I'm sorry if you guys hear that. I have to crack my... I just don't feel comfortable unless I do it. Hold up. I'll stand back a little bit. Hold up. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, that feels way better.
unless you pop up joints. Yeah, I just need to stretch a little bit sometimes, you know? Me getting old. I've always been old. I feel old and I am old. Old lady. Don't call me an old lady. I ain't old yet. I'm still in my prime. I'm still in my prime. 25. I'm pretty old. I'm pretty old. Anyway. All this time, Dorothy and her companions had been walking through the thick woods. Can I change the avatar? Not today. Not today, paper. Simply because I'm just reading and I'd rather not have. The reason why is because I don't want like a flashbang on my screen. I'm trying to like turn down the whiteness. I'm sorry. But good morning to you, paper. I'm reading The Wizard of Oz. Flashbang. Yeah, I have too much white as the other characters. I need something a little darker today. There's this bug flying all over my room, and I'm going to punch it in the middle of this stream. If that causes me to throw my table, I do apologize. Okay, the road was still paved with yellow brick, but they were much covered by dried branches and dead leaves from the trees, and the walking was not at all good. There were few birds in this part of the forest, for birds love the open country where there is plenty of sunshine. But now, then there came a deep growl from some wild animal hidden among the trees. These sounds made the little girl's heart beat fast, for she did not know what made them. But Toto knew, and he walked close to Dorothy's side and did not even bark in return. Hi there, Pumpkin. Good morning to you, Pumpkin. How are you two doing? I hope everyone's having a great day today. I am reading a book. That is today's stream currently. Okay. How long will it be, the child asked of the Tin Woodman, before we are out of the forest? I cannot tell, was the answer. Wait. Okay. The giant. Oh, wait, I'm dumb. Dorothy asked that. Gosh darn it, I hate this old English so much. Before we are out of the forest, I cannot tell, was the answer, for I have never been to the Emerald City, but my father went there once when I was a boy, and he said it was a long journey through a dangerous country. Although nearer to the city where Oz dwells, the country is beautiful, but I am not afraid so long as I have my oil can, and nothing can hurt the Scarecrow, while you bear upon your forehead the mark of the Good Witch's kiss, and I'll protect you from harm. But Toto, said the girl anxiously, what would protect him? We must protect him ourselves if he is in danger, replied the Tin Woodman. Just as he spoke, there came from the forest a terrible roar, and the next moment a great lion bounded into the road. With one blow of his paw, he sent the Scarecrow spinning over and over to the edge of the road, and then he struck at the Tin Woodman with his sharp claws. But to the lion's surprise, he could make no impression on the tin, although the woodman fell over in the road and lay still. Wow, the freaking lion just TKO'd the party. Just straight up, just slapped the Scarecrow. Just bang, goodbye. And, I mean, the woodsman just got owned. dare you? Upon his nose as hard as she could, while she cried out, "Don't you dare try to bite Toto. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, a big beast like you, to bite a poor little dog."
I didn't bite him,
said the lion as he rubbed his nose with his paw where Dorothy had hidden. "No, but you tried to," she retorted. "You're nothing but a big coward."
I know it,
said the lion, hanging his head in shame.
I've always known it, but how can I help it?
"I don't know. I'm sure. To think of you striking a stuffed man like the poor scarecrow."
Is he stuffed?
asked the lion in surprise as he watched her pick up the scarecrow and set him upon his feet while she patted him into shape again. "Of course he's stuffed," replied Dorothy, who was still angry.
Oh, that's why he went over so easily,
remarked the lion.
It astonished me to see him whirl around so. Is the other one stuffed also?
"No," said Dorothy. "He's made of tin." And she helped the woodman up again.
"That's why he nearly blunted my claws,"
said the lion.
"When they scratched against the tin, it made a cold shiver run down my back. What is that little animal you are so tender of?"
"He is my dog, Toto," answered Dorothy.
"Is he made of tin or stuffed?"
asked the lion. "Neither. He's a meat dog." "Ah, good old meat dog. My favorite type of dogs, the meat dog," said the girl.
"Oh, he's a curious animal and seems remarkably small now that I look at him. No one would think of biting such a little thing except a coward like me," continued the lion sadly.
"What makes you a coward?" asked Dorothy, looking at the great beast in wonder, for he was as big as a small horse.
"It's a mystery," replied the lion. "I suppose I was born that way. All the other animals in the forest naturally expect me to be brave, for the lion is everywhere, thought to be the king of beasts. I learned that if I roared very loudly, every little thing was frightened and got out of my way. Whenever I've met a man I've been awfully scared of, I just roared at him, and he has always run away as fast as he could go. If the elephants and the tigers and the bears ever tried to fight me, I should have run myself. I'm such a coward, but just as soon as they hear me roar, they are all trying to get away from me, and of course I let them go."
But that isn't right. The king of beasts shouldn't be a coward," said the scarecrow.
"I know it,"
returned the lion, wiping a tear from his eye with the tip of his tail.
"It is my great sorrow and makes my life very unhappy. But wherever there is danger, my heart begins to beat fast."
"Perhaps you have heart disease," said the Tin Woodsman.
"It may be,"
said the lion. "If you have," continued the Tin Woodman, "you ought to be glad, for it proves you have a heart. For my part, I have no heart, so I cannot have heart disease." Yo, the healthcare in the Wizard of Oz, what's it looking like? Can it cure heart disease? "Perhaps," said the lion.
"If I had no heart, I should not be a coward."
Have you brains?" asked the scarecrow.
"I suppose so. I never looked to see," replied the lion.
"I'm going to the Great Wizard of Oz to ask him to give me some," remarked the scarecrow, "for my head is stuffed with straw."
"And I'm going to ask him to give me a heart," said the woodman.
"And I'm going to ask him to send Toto and me back to Kansas."
"Do you think Oz could give me courage?"
asked the cowardly lion. "Oh, well, just as easily as he could give me brains," said the scarecrow.
or give me a heart, said the Tin Woodman, or send me back to Kansas, said Dorothy. Then if you don't mind, I'll go with you, said the Lion, for my life is simply unbearable without a bit of courage. You will be very welcome, answered Dorothy, for you will help to keep away the other wild beasts. It seems to me they must be more cowardly than you are if they allow you to scare them so easily. They really are, said the Lion, but that doesn't make me any braver. As long as I know myself to be a coward, I shall be unhappy. So once more the little company set off upon the journey, the Lion walking with stately strides at Dorothy's side. Toto did not approve this new comrade at first, for he could not forget how nearly he had been crushed between the Lion's great jaws. But after a time he became more at ease, and presently Toto and the Cowardly Lion had grown to be good friends. During the rest of the day there was no other adventures to mar the peace of their journey. Once indeed the Tin Woodman stepped upon a beetle that was crawling along the road and killed the poor little thing. This made the Tin Woodman very unhappy, for he was always careful not to hurt any living creature, and as soon as he walked along he wept several tears of sorrow and regret. These tears ran slowly down his face and over the hinges of his jaw, and there they rusted. When Dorothy presently asked him a question, the Tin Man could not open his mouth, for his jaws were tightly rusted together. He became greatly frightened at this and made many motions to Dorothy to relieve him, but she could not understand. The Lion was also puzzled to what was wrong. But the Scarecrow seized the oil can from Dorothy's basket and oiled the Woodman's jaws, so that after a few minutes he could talk as well as before. "This will serve me a lesson," said he, "to look where I step, for if I should kill another bug or beetle, I should surely cry again, and crying rusts my jaws so that I cannot speak." Therefore he walked very carefully with his eyes on the road, and when he saw a tiny ant toiling by the he would step over it so not to harm it. The Tin Woodman knew very well he had no heart, and therefore he took great care never to be cruel or unkind to anything. "You people with hearts," he said, "have something to guide you and need never do wrong, but I have no heart, so I must be very careful. When Oz gives me a heart, of course I didn't mind so much." It's actually so funny how you can see it. They have the hearts, they have the brain, and I mean, obviously the Lion probably is very courageous. It's just a whole lot of self-doubt, I could kind of relate to that, honestly. Just like you are, I forget what the word, imposter syndrome. I feel like imposter syndrome hits me a lot. Not as like a VTuber, nothing like that, that's cringe. But what I mean specifically is that I have imposter syndrome with my own life, where I don't think I did these things and did them correctly. I don't think I deserve this. I don't think I am this person people look at me as. For example, when people call me smart or whatever, I always have to tell them, no, I'm not smart. I'm never smart. The person that you see as smart is someone that did many dubious things to get there. I am therefore not smart. If I was smart, I wouldn't need to do dubious things to get to the top of like this smartness. I wouldn't have gotten my degree and all that, you know, that kind of stuff. I kind of can relate to this in that way. Although I'm not calling myself smart, that's for sure. Just a parallel I see. Okay. Should I read another chapter, I wonder? Are we having an existential crisis? Not me. Not me. Nope, 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 nope. Not me. Not I. Or is that Lion's crisis? I don't know. I think the lion's crisis is that, yeah, he doesn't see himself as a brave person, but in fact he's very brave. Matter of fact, actually, now that I think about it, he's very brave for going on a journey to go to Oz to fix his problem that he doesn't have. If you think about it, people don't go on journeys, don't go on like long adventures to fix something unless you're brave. Okay. I'll do one more chapter for today, and after that, I'll switch to a game or something for the rest of the night. Oh wow, we have been going for a while, Jesus. Okay. They were obliged to camp out that night under a large tree in the forest, for there were no houses near. The tree made a good thick covering to protect them from the dew, and the Tin Woodman chopped a great pile of wood with his axe, and Dorothy built a splendid fire that warmed her and made her feel less lonely. She and Toto ate the last of their bread, and now she did not know what they would do for breakfast. "If you wish," said the lion, "I will go into the forest and kill a deer for you. You can roast it by the fire, since your tastes are so peculiar that you prefer cooked food, and then you will have a very good breakfast." "Don't, please, don't," begged the Tin Woodman. "I should certainly weep if you killed a poor deer, and then my jaws would rust again." But the lion went away into the forest and found his own supper, and no one ever knew what it was, for he didn't mention it. And the Scarecrow would found a tree full of nuts and filled Dorothy's basket with them so that she would not be hungry for a time. She thought this was very kind and thoughtful of the Scarecrow, but she laughed heartily at the awkward way in which the poor creature picked up the nuts. His padded hands were so clumsy and the nuts were so small that he dropped almost as many as he put in the basket. But the Scarecrow did not mind how long it took to fill the basket, for it enabled him to keep away from the fire, as he feared the spark might get into his straw and burn him up. So he kept a good distance away from the flames, and only came to cover Dorothy with dry leaves when she lay down to sleep. These kept her very snug and warm, and she slept soundly until morning. When it was daylight, the girl bathed her face in a little rippling brook, and soon after they all started toward the Emerald City. This was to be an eventful day for the travelers. They had hardly been walking an hour when they saw before them a great ditch that crossed the road and divided the forest as far as they could see on either side. It was a very wide ditch, and when they crept up to the edge and looked into it, they could see it was a very deep, and there were many big, jagged rocks at the bottom. The sides were so steep that none of them could climb down, and for a moment it seemed that their journey must end. "What shall we do?" asked Dorothy despairingly. "I haven't the faintest idea," said the Tin Woodman. The lion shook his shaggy mane and looked thoughtful, but the Scarecrow said, "We cannot fly, that is certain. Neither can we climb down into this great ditch. Therefore, if we cannot jump over it, we must stop where we are." "I think I could jump over it," said the Cowardly Lion after measuring the distance carefully in his mind. Yo, the lion's got math. The lion's got math skills. He's over here calculating the meter distance of his damn jump. "Then we are all right," answered the Scarecrow, "for you can carry us all on your back, one at a time." "Well, I'll try it," said the lion. "Who will go first?" "I will," declared the Scarecrow, "for if you found that you could not jump over the gulf, Dorothy would be killed, or the Tin Man would badly dented on the rocks below. But if I am on your back, it will not matter so much, for the fall would not hurt me at all." "I am terribly afraid of falling myself," said the Cowardly Lion. but I suppose there's nothing to do but try it. So get on my back and we will make the attempt. The Scarecrow sat upon the lion's back, and the big beast walked to the edge of the gulf and crouched down. Why don't you run and jump? Asked the Scarecrow. Because that isn't the way we lions do these things, he replied. Then giving a great spring, he shot through the air and landed safely on the other side. They were all greatly pleased to see how easily he did it, and after the Scarecrow had got down from his back, the lion sprang across the ditch again. Dorothy thought she would go next, so she took Toto in her arms and climbed the lion's back, holding tightly to his mane with one hand. Next moment, it seems as if she was flying through the air, and then before she had time to think, she was safe on the other side. The lion went back a third time and got the Tin Woodman. But isn't the Tin Woodman heavier? I'm worried whether the lion will make it. Okay. And they all sat for a few moments to give the beast a chance to rest, for his great leaps had made his breath short, and he panted like a big dog that has been running for too long. They found the forest very thick on the side, and it looked dark and gloomy. After the lion had rested, they started along the road of yellow brick, silently wondering each in his own mind if ever they would come to the end of the woods and reach the bright sunshine again. To add to their discomfort, they soon heard strange noises in the depths of the forest, and the lion whispered to them that it was part of the country where the Kalidas lived. What are the Kalidas? Asked the girl. They are monstrous beasts with bodies like bears and heads like tigers, replied the lion, and with claws so long and sharp that they could tear me in two as easily as I could kill Toto. I'm terribly afraid of the Kalidas. I'm not surprised that you are, returned Dorothy. They must be dreadful beasts. The lion was about to reply when suddenly they came to another gulf across the road, but this one was so broad and deep that the lion knew at once he could not leap it. So they sat down and considered what they should do. And after a serious thought, the Scarecrow said, Here's a great tree standing close to the ditch. If the Tin Woodman can chop it down so that it will fall to the other side, we can walk across it easily. That is a first-rate idea. One would almost suspect you had brains in your head instead of straw. The woodman set to work at once, and so sharp was his axe that the tree was soon chopped nearly through. Then the lion put his strong front legs against the tree and pushed with all his might, and slowly the big tree tipped and fell with a crash across the ditch with its top branch on the other side. What was that? Is it thundering outside? What was that? Hold on, let me check out the weather real fast. It's crazy if it's raining or thundering today at this time of night. No. I wonder what that was. Strange. Oh well. Let's see. Okay. They had just started to cross this queer bridge when a sharp growl made them all look up, and to their horror, they saw running towards them two great beasts with bodies like bears and heads like tigers. They are the Kalidas, said the cowardly lion, beginning to tremble. Quick, cried the Scarecrow, let us cross over. So Dorothy went first, holding Toto in her arm. The Tin Woodman followed, and the Scarecrow came next. The lion, although he was certainly afraid, turned to face the Kalidas, and then he gave him so loud and terrible a roar that Dorothy screamed and the Scarecrow fell over backward, while even the fierce beast stopped short and looked at them in surprise. But seeing they were bigger than the lion and remembering that there were two of them and only one of him, the Kalidas again rushed forward. The lion crossed over the tree and turned to see what they would do next. Without stopping an instant, the fierce beast also began to cross the tree, and the lion said to Dorothy, "We are lost, for they will surely tear us to pieces with their sharp claws. But stand close behind me, and I will fight them as long as I am alive." "Wait a minute," called the Scarecrow. He had been thinking about what was best to be done, and now he asked the women to chop away the end of the tree that rests on the other side of the ditch. The Tin Woodman began to use his axe at once, and just as the two Kalidas were nearly across, the tree fell with a crash into the gulf, carrying the ugly, snarling brute with it. And both were dashed to pieces on sharp rocks at the bottom. "Well," said the Cowardly Lion, drawing a long breath of relief, "I see we are going to live a little while longer, and I'm glad of it, for it must be a very uncomfortable thing not to be alive. Those creatures frightening me so badly that my heart is beating yet." "Ah," said the Tin Woodman sadly, "I wish I had a heart to beat." This adventure made the travelers more anxious than ever to get out of the forest, and they walked so fast that Dorothy became tired and had to ride on the lion's back. To their great joy, the trees became thinner the farther they advanced, and in the afternoon they suddenly came upon a broad river flowing swiftly just before them. On the other side of the water, they could see the road of yellow brick running through a beautiful country, with green meadows dotted with bright flowers, and all the road bordered with trees hanging full of delicious fruits. They were greatly pleased to see this delightful country before them. "How shall we cross the river?" "That is easily done," replied the Scarecrow. "The Tin Woodman must build us a craft so we can float to the other side." So the woodsman took his axe and began to chop down small trees to make a raft, and while he was busy at this time, the Scarecrow found on the river bank a tree full of fine fruit. This pleased Dorothy, who had eaten nothing but nits all days, and she made a hearty meal of the ripe fruit. But it takes time to make a draft, and even when one is industrious and untiring as the Tin Woodman, and when night came, the work was not done. So they found a cozy place under the trees where they slept well into the morning. And Dorothy dreamed of the Emerald City and a good Wizard of Oz who would soon send her back to her own home again. I like that image. That image is really cute. I like that. It's really nice. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop the Wizard of Oz for today, guys. That was almost 3 hours of reading. Well, I guess I should say 2.5 with all the chatting I did too, not to mention. Wowzers. Yeah, that we read a lot. We're probably like a third through the book now. Let's see, I'm on page 62, right? Thanks for reading. Oh no, thank you for letting me read to you guys. I know I'm not the best at it. I know that I have a lot of things to go through. We're on we're at page 62 out of 208. Yeah, that's like, hold up, let me do the math real fast. So it's like 208, divide that by 62. Yeah, it's like, that's actually 33%. That is correct. Wow. So if I do like 2 more streams of this specifically, we'll finish the book. Of course, if I do more ASMR streams, it definitely won't be this. I'll definitely have like actual ASMR things to do. But let me go ahead and minimize this, and let me get zoomed in over here. Yeah, no worries. I had a lot of fun doing this, and overall, it was calming. Like, I had no issues at all. Thank you for following. Thank you for following Braddy Cthulhu. Man, I am honestly so glad people stopped calling me a brat. It was so, not that it's annoying or anything, but like, I'm not just a brat. I'm not just a brat, guys. Come on. But welcome aboard, Fatty Cthulhu. Now you're part of the Slime Nation, the Slime Army. Slime up, chewing ice ASMR. What's wrong with being a brat? Nothing. But like, think about it this way: if you're good at like many other things, and all you're known as is as a brat, is very sad. Your name is cool because Bratty Cthulhu. Well, you're also Cthulhu as well, which is sick as hell. You see what I mean? Like, I'm Slime, but if I got demoted from Slime VTuber to just Brat VTuber, I'd be really mad. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with being bratty. And if you want to be a brat, that's okay. Because that's who you are, too. Do not deny yourself. Do not be peer pressured. Yada, yada, yada. Something about, like, instilling confidence or whatever. I'm not really good with words, and I say a lot of things that hurt people's feelings. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Really hope you express yourself and enjoy it. But the question is, what now? I still want to continue doing something. Not ASMR related, though. What can I do? I'm just looking through all the games I have. Game time? I might play a game, yeah. But the question is, what game? I wonder, I wish I had like games that could be, maybe if I go, like I wish, is there games, Animal Crossing, that's what I'm thinking. I want something that's like calm. I want something that's calm and chill. That's what I want. So I guess something like casual or whatever. Casual games are what people like the most, right? Hold on. Let's see. Web fishing? Not web fishing, but like I want that genre. Where does your name come from? Avocado seems familiar. Definitely have heard that word before. I just can't completely grasp what it means. Ah, someone that hasn't heard an avocado before. That's perfect. I'd love to explain since I do like sharing my addiction to other people. Okay, so let me just go ahead and say this. Okay, to start with, I am a huge coffee addict. I love coffee. I'm very addicted to it. Like a cortado? Exactly like cortado. So, in avocado specifically, it's pretty much your general espresso, but it either has an ice cream or a gelato, which is like an Italian ice used to be put into the coffee as well to make it more like a creamy thing. So, for example, this is an avocado. Oh, a gelato. Correct. But yes, I am a huge coffee addict. I am morbidly addicted to caffeine, and I love every single second of it. But welcome aboard, welcome aboard. Is there like a cozy category on Steam? There's gotta be, right? Shmup. What the heck's shmup? Farming, crafting, hobby, job, spaceflight, story rich, Castlevania. I wish I could find exactly what I want. Aren't you dripping caffeine right now? No. I just spilled the coffee all over my legs. Smooth moves me. It's been a long time since I've done one of those. Honestly, it's quite refreshing. Don't look at me like that. Everybody messes up every now and then. Oh, I found it. I found the cozy tag. I found it. I finally. Alright guys, I can finally press the cozy tag. What's on the cozy tag for Steam games? Because that's what I want to play. What are you staring at me for? Oh my god, since when did you have 4 eyes? Is that something you can always do? Nostalgia, you're freaking me out. I'm trying to really go through this. I think I may have found something I want to do. You're too much. I was a low-tier barista back on the restaurant I used to work at. Coffee's a banger. It is. I actually, you know what's funny? I've never been a barista. I was a part-time bartender. So I know a small bit of alcohol, but that's about it. But my true passion is coffee and tea. Tea, not so much, but I do love the taste of regular tea and like boba tea as well. I love it a lot. But hey, low tier or not, the fact is you're working at a customer service job, or you were working at a customer service job, I salute you for your hard service. Because I know exactly how like difficult it is to do your best to like please everyone. You know? It's not fair that like we never really get the recognition we deserve. Well, maybe nowadays it's starting to be more mainstream to like actually care, but like some customers, they're just the worst. Okay, guys, I have a question for you guys. Would you guys like me to be either a furry train conductor in a furry world of cuteness of furries and such, or a like farming sim where I make coffee and like potions and stuff as well? Which one would you like between those two? I was supposed to say jack of all trades, and then launch between all the areas: server, cashier, cook, bar, you name it. You know what? I have something similar as well, where I was a cafeteria worker, and I did a lot of things on my cafeteria jobs. I dishwashing, serving, cooking, like refilling things, cleaning the floors, handling the cashier. But then I also took a summer camp counselor job, and I took a job into like IT, and now I just work as a ramen shop server until I get like a new job, hopefully as a security guard, you know. That's my next goal. It's a good job with good money. Ramen shop? Yeah, I work at a ramen shop that also serves like sushi as well. It's quite great. It's alright. I personally don't really like the ramen myself. I like just ordering a lot of the sushi. Nom 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 nom. Okay. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to do something real fast. Give me a second. I have to do something real quick with my model, because I am going to continue playing and I need to give myself my arms back, so I'll be right back. A security guard. Coffee game or furry? Yeah. Coffee game or train conductor? Up to you guys. Up to you guys what you want. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. My feet! They're missing! Oh. I mean, I do well during late night shifts and such, so it's just like... Coffee game sounds funny. Sounds cozy. It does sound cozy, doesn't it? Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what this game's about. Or is it about tea? Hold on, I'm very confused whether or not this is about tea or coffee. It's a tea shop. Oh, it was a tea shop the whole time. Do you guys think a tea shop would work? I lied to you guys. It wasn't a coffee shop, it was a tea shop. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Is it coffee talk? No, although I do have coffee talk, so if you guys want to see me play coffee talk, I could do it as well. I do have coffee talk, and I have been meaning to play it on the like stream. I also have Valhalla as well. Coffee Talk is also a great game. I never finished it. I think I did like the first 2 days, and that's about it. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? It technically counts towards like what I just said. So, would have Venomilk ruined the atmosphere? Not necessarily, because we're done, but I also disabled Venomilk because the scene currently doesn't have that. I'll turn it on in a second after we get to the game itself. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and switch this to just chatting now as I change from a more sleepy atmosphere to a more positive and talkative atmosphere. I'm heading off to bed, so I hope you have a good night and a good rest of the stream. Thank you, Ice Claw, and I appreciate you lurking, okay? Have a good night, okay? Take care of yourself, and I hope you have sleep dreams. Sleep dreams? Sweet dreams. You get what I mean. Hold on. I gotta... Nintendo upbeat and chill video game music while you procrastinate. Yeah, that sounds good. Ba 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 ba